Oh, can you hear me now? Is this working now? Everybody can hear me? Oh, it's on now. It's on now. I am Adam, and thanks for joining us today. This is our first development update and community Q&A session of the new year. And as I was saying when you probably couldn't hear me, our normal interim producer is out today, and we have a real hero, especially after this shaky start. We have a real hero named Craig who is helping us today. And Craig was so cool under pressure right there. When nothing was working, I was watching him. I couldn't hear him because I think that was part of the problem. But he was so cool under pressure. He was just calm as a cucumber. He might have, rolled a little low to start with, and then he pulled it out, and an epic natural 20 to get the sound back going. So thank you all for joining me today, and thank you, Craig, for being able to stand in like this and make this happen. So really appreciate it. Now let's jump right in to what's going on with Demiplane and with Pathfinder Nexus. We're going to cover a good bit of that today. So, latest updates. Game Compendium. We have been working so much on this game Compendium. Lots and lots of activity. This is my favorite part of making things and making things happen. I love all the just the activity, the energy with the team as this is going on. So phase 2 of what's going on with early access for Pathfinder Nexus is really close here. So I'm going to show you some of that today. We're going to demo it. Very close to getting this out for everybody to try out in early access, and you'll see that a little bit today. Then we will cover the early access roadmap. And then I have got a special discussion on the launch features and a way to just kind of break down how the different features are coming together, and how you will be able to access all the features coming together as we get ready to really start pushing into what the full launch is for Pathfinder Nexus. And then, as always, we are going to take whatever time we have to let you ask questions, and you can start doing that now, actually. So you can ask questions now in chat. You can just preface that with the word question, and we have this magical thing that will come in, and I'm hoping that it's working. Let's see. Yep, I'm getting questions, so that means it is working. So you can ask those questions all along the way, and I will get to as many of them as I can at the end of our time here today. All right, let's jump into latest updates. Latest updates. So over the holiday break, we got all of our item tooltips live. And so you can see in the digital reader for any of the books that you have pre-ordered, you can access that now. You can see we've got spells and creatures and now items and forget feats, all kinds of different game elements that have tooltips where you can hover over, you can see a quick glance of what that is. You can click through and see the full details on whatever it is that you have clicked or tapped there. And so items have been added to all the current rule books that we have in place. And then we are working on Lost Omens content. So we've been talking about this, and we've gotten a little derailed. We had a little bit of COVID hitting our team, a little bit of delays with that. I know a lot of people are dealing with that out there right now, but we are really cranking these last couple of weeks on adding more of the Lost Omens content. And this week we will be submitting the Ancestry Guide, the Grand Bazaar, and the Mwangi Expanse to Paizo for review. And so typically that's a pretty quick turnaround, and so hopefully we're going to get that out pretty soon. And right now it looks like we're going to be able to do that at about a clip of about 3 of those books a week minimum. Might even get more of that going after we get a couple of other team members back who have been away from us for a little while. So really working on Lost Omens content, and very excited to start to see all of that come together. One of my favorite parts of that process is being able to work on these books and really familiarize goes with them. And so as I've been looking at these books as they're coming together, there really is just some incredible content on the Pathfinder side. And I can't wait to get this into early access. And then we are working on the aforementioned game compendium. And this game compendium is really going to be slick. It is already something that we are using in our games internally, and it is making a big difference already. And so I can't wait for you to be able to get your hands on it. It's one thing to collect all of the rules information in one place like we're doing, but it's another thing for it to be zippy, quickie, fasty. It is all just incredibly snappy when it comes to being able to search and filter and find what you're looking for. And so there's a lot of power there, and I'm really proud of what the team is putting together. I can't wait for you to get your hands on. I'm going to show you about that here in just a little while. But before I do that, I want to talk through what that game compendium is going to consist of. So we have listings and primers, as we call them. The listings are going to be your game elements that are going to be a little more kind of self-contained. And so this is going to be spells, items, creatures, feats, backgrounds, some of the kind of smaller game elements that are typically going to be covered in a few paragraphs at maximum within the game content itself. So those are going to be in a listing format. You'll see what I mean in just a moment when I demo that. But then also we have something that we call primers, which are going to be some of the larger game elements. So this is going to be something that is not covered in a paragraph or two. So that's going to be classes, ancestries, archetypes, all of those things additionally coming together. The really important thing about the game compendium is Pathfinder is a vast just wonderland to explore when it comes to all of the rules content coming, and there are books coming out all the time that are adding more and more options to this really rich and expansive game. And so in the game compendium, being able to have all of those things in one place. So if you are looking at a class primer for the barbarian, you're going to see in one place. You're not going to have to jump between the core rule book and the advanced player's guide and any other books that they come out with in the future that have barbarian focused options. All of those are going to end up in one place and aggregated there for you. So all of that coming together, and I'm going to jump over right now and start to show you a little bit more of what I mean there. So let's see if I can find my screen. All right. Yep, we found it. All right, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to talk for, another sentence or two just to make sure that the screen is actually coming up there because I can't see anything on the production side. So I'm going to have some faith and trust. So right now we're looking at the spells listing. And for the spells listing, you can see this is all of the spells. Now, currently, again, we don't, we're starting to get Lost Omens content, and then we're going to work on adventures content after that. So at this point in time, it's all the content from the rule books, which of course, as you know, is going to cover many of these spells because, this includes the core rule book. It includes the advanced player's guide. It includes secrets of magic and so on. So these are the spells. You can see everything at a glance, some very useful information. You can click into a spell such as Aberrant Form here. You're going to see all of those details expanded. You are able to really search this very quickly. So if I start searching dragon, you can see it is pulling that list in incredibly quickly there. I can see any spells that have dragon in the title or in their description. So all of this coming together, reset this. I can look at all spells available to druids. So naturally, this is going to include primal spells, but also all of the focus spells associated with druids. All of this really quickly. You can just start filtering through. You can reset with your all here. We additionally have some advanced filters, and this is going to expand over time as well. So if I want to see all of the arcane spells, I can do so. And as soon as I filter there, it's going to, filter this list and get down to what we need. Additionally, you can see even the top level filters adjust. So this means that these are the classes that have spells that are arcane spells available to them in some way. You can filter by source, so I can look at just Secrets of Magic if I wanted to do that. I'm going to reset real quick. We can go into looking at rare spells and what the traditions are for that. Divine. I can also say that I want to see Divine and Arcane, or I can do or Arcane, and that is going to so for all of these filters, you will be able to additionally add in there if it's an or an and. And as you can see, we eventually got down to where nothing is there. So all of these filters are in place. And again, the really key thing here is these are just really, really snappy. And so being able to go to the creatures listing, you can filter by type. So we've got all our beasts, constructs, dragons. Everybody loves a good dragon. All of that's going to be there. And we're going to be able to see all of the information for whatever that creature is in this expansion. And some of this is still a little in progress, so some of it might be slightly rough around the edges, but this is all starting to come together. You can see all of this information in these listings, and we're really, really excited for this to come out. This is going to be this is, like I said, it's already become a game changer for us to be able to find things very quickly when someone goes to cast a spell, and we need to see what that spell does. All of that happening very, very fast. So we've got feats, and not quite done on items. That's the one that is kind of on the fence there, but we're about to get that. And you'll see a couple of places where we don't have all of the data inserted. Those are all the last little pieces of the puzzle that we are putting together to get this ready for release into early access. So this game compendium is going to be really useful. Can't wait for people to get their hands on it. And then I wanted to show you, those are the listings that I was just going through. And then I will also show you a little picture of what we call primers. And so these primers are for those, again, game elements that are a little bit bigger. So you see here with classes, you'll be able to see all of the classes that are available, and not just the classes that are in the core rulebook. For instance, this is going to have all of the classes that you can find here. Click through to the wizard. This is going to be a really nice page that's going to show you all of the information that you might want to see for the wizard as we scroll down. And if you're seeing strange things on the screen, this is because this is in a mock-up prototype for this, because all of the content exists for these primers, and kind of the last phase is us going on and putting on the finishing touches to make these kind of the front end of this to display for everybody. So that's the piece that we're working on. But as you've got this wizard, you can go down through. You'll have your navigation here that you can find, that you can collapse. This nav right here is also going to be moved into the digital reader. So all of that's going to be standardized. This is something that we're working on, that, this is going to follow you down the page. So we've heard feedback about that. All of that's going to be going in, in future iterations as well. Of course, we've got our tooltips, as you've seen before. We've got our back to top here, so each of these, so these are going to exist for classes. These are going to exist for ancestries, for versatile heritages, and also archetypes. So one of the really, really key things that I will call out here for the wizard, for instance, is as you are looking at the content, and again, you're going to see you might see with the resolution that we got on there, some of these little lines. This is just some screen tearing that's happening in our mock-up program. But as you get to the end of this, after you get through sample builds, all of this, you're going to end up with a wizard's feats section and a wizard focus spells section. So all of this is going to be right there on the class. And so if there are feats in any Pathfinder source for the wizard, you're going to find them all in one place here. So this is the really really important thing. And like I said, this is going to be really useful. And very importantly, as you might can imagine, this is a very important building block for what is going to happen with character management. So character management is the third phase of early access, and it's the last phase that we will get in place before the full launch of Pathfinder Nexus. And all of these game elements that are coming together, spells and backgrounds and feats, and then even what you're seeing with classes, how those are being built out, how all the things are being aggregated in one place. This is all foundational for what we will end up using for characters down the road. So all the pieces are coming together. And like I said, we can't wait for this to come out and for people to be able to use it. Before I leave here, I've got to absolutely find my favorite spell, Dinosaur Form. So there's Dinosaur Form in all of its glory. We can't wait for you to see this. All right, let's head back to our upcoming now. Okay, upcoming. So the early access phases, as we've been talking about, we have the digital reader out there right now, and a little bit of color coding here, where we have rule books that are in place in the digital reader that you can see. We are working right now on the Lost Omens content. Going to have more news on that, hopefully even by next week's dev update. And then we've got adventures on deck after that we will start entering. So that's going to include standalone adventures and all of the adventure paths as well. And then we are working on the game compendium. So you just saw spells, items, creatures, classes, all of those things. Keep an eye out in the next, several days. And we're going to start introducing that into early access as well. And then character management is the big one. We are getting pretty close to being able to show you some concepts for that as well. And that's going to be an important part of early access for us, is even to show the early stages of what's happening with characters and character management, because those early stages are being able to get a little validation from the fans, from the community out there, that, hey, we're pulling on the right thread, is going to be really, really important. So you're going to start to see some of those, concepts and everything pretty soon too. So excited about that. And then I would be remiss if I did not mention, or at least tease a little bit here. So first of all, we are, I think tonight will be 3 episodes deep into our 8-part mini-series, where we are playing through Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos. So we've got Strixhaven Chaos in the former show Heroes of the Plains. A lot of chaos happened, and people apparently in this group roll 1s and 20s with more frequency than any other 2 numbers on the 20-sided die. And so a whole lot of chaos happens, and it's been a lot of fun so far to play students going to school at Strixhaven. So you can join us tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific for that. That is ran by B. Dave Walters, and we're going to continue to go through for that 8-part series. Once that series wraps up, I can't quite talk about it yet, but there's going to be an announcement soon. And I was looking for at sketches for artwork a little bit later today for what is happening for our new permanent show that's going to come back after this mini series with Strixhaven. And it is genuinely the most excited that I have been to play a character, to come up with a concept for a character. The world is just so unique and fun. Pretty much what I can say, and this is probably the most flattering thing that I can say about this upcoming game, is when I think about what I like out of D&D, and I could probably tell you some movies or books that would give you a feel of what I like. But let's say, I'm a big Neil Gaiman fan. I love Stardust. I love Fables, the comic series. All of those kinds of things are just completely in my wheelhouse. And so I love what is about to happen, and we're going to have more news on what that's going to be here in the next few weeks. But I do want to let everybody know that in March, we're going to be coming back with that new show, and we're going to have a really, really great familiar cast. But then we've got a great new game master who's going to be coming in. Can't wait to introduce you all to them. We'll use that pronoun there. So yeah, coming very soon on that. And I think that is everything on our latest updates upcoming. So we are going to move to questions now. Oh, no. I'm getting ahead of myself. Not quite questions. You can still ask those questions, preface with question in chat, but we've got one more really important thing that I wanted to talk to everyone about, and that is a breakdown of our launch features. So now that we are a little deeper into this process, now that we are on the doorstep of introducing the second phase, which is the game compendium for Pathfinder Nexus, we have been working with Paizo and working through how the Paizo ecosystem works out there. And as many of you know, game mechanics in the Pathfinder game, which is a wonderful open thing for the community out there, game mechanics are freely accessible. And so as we are moving into this next phase of what we're doing, we look at the 3 different features that are the core features for the launch of Pathfinder Nexus. And this is the breakdown that we see, which is the game compendium, which is all those game mechanics that I was just talking about, with the advanced filters, the rules aggregation that I mentioned, all of those things. That's searchable, easy to navigate game compendium. That is freely accessible because it is game mechanics. So just like you would find, on various sites out there on the internet, all of that, you're going to have that premium database table. All of that is going to be freely accessible for all game mechanics for the Pathfinder game as we are able to add the content as that content. And of course, we are going to catch up to that where we're going to be able to do that day and date as releases come, as we catch up. And then the digital reader, which are the Pathfinder books in that premium digital format with all the tooltipping, cross-linking. Eventually that will have annotations, all of those things, all the text and all the artwork. So, going beyond just the game mechanics there, all of those things are available in the digital reader. And then, of course, character management that we haven't talked about too much, but I think you can probably fill in a lot of the blanks with your imagination about what that's going to look like, how useful that's going to be. So those components, so, as we look out over how Pathfinder rules are distributed out to fans, this is the model that Paizo has in place, and Pathfinder Nexus is going to follow that model. So all of the official solutions for character management, all of that, that is where the cost starts to kick in, and that's what you can unlock as that's going on. So if you're pre-ordering here during early access, you get access to that digital reader, and then you will get access to character management as soon as that's introduced. But as we start doing listings and these primers, that is where you're going to be able to freely access any of the game rules and the information there. So wanted to share that now that we have full clarity on how that's going to go, now that we have laid down some Velcro for what those things and those features even are. And we're really excited to be able to get Pathfinder into more hands than it's ever been in before. We can't wait for that to happen. All right, now I think it is time for questions. So we're going to jump over 2 questions, and hopefully I am giving enough of a runway. Yes, perfect. Jumping over to questions. All right, we're going to select this one because I think it's funny. Where is the sound? Craig found it. It is now completely in place. Everything is okay. Thank you so much, Craig. You've done so great. All All right. I love aggravating Craig, and it's one of my favorite things to do. And Craig is such a good guy. So genuinely, thanks, Craig, for stepping in today. Spidey clone. What kind of cadence are we looking at for these dev updates? These are planned for weekly. And this is, we have now resumed them for 2022. This, of course, is, I'll caveat to say that sometimes I travel, sometimes I might take a vacation one day, so we will miss some weeks here or there, but in general, the regular cadence is going to be weekly for these dev updates, and we are really starting to crank here. And so this is we should have some things to talk about every week, and we plan to do this weekly. Let's see. R Darkade, in the not technical side, how easy would it be to migrate a campaign from the 5.1 SRD to Pathfinder 2? Not technical side. So I don't know how much I want to jump in on the not technical side. On the technical side, definitely, it would be doable, not incredibly easy, but ultimately migrating that campaign, there is going to be a lot of similarity in terminology. So there are going to be armor classes, and there are going to be D20s that you're rolling, and some of the skills are going to be familiar. So it is absolutely possible to do that. And I have personally, I have at least 3 friends and possibly a few more acquaintances that I have pretty recently talked to who have done that. And so I think that they seem to be having a good bit of success with it, and I think it's something that you could do. So Istatraplaxil, sorry, I butchered that. Will they be listed even if you don't own the product? So yeah, as I was just explaining, all of the game mechanics in the game compendium are going to be freely accessible. Very excited about that. Anchor 89, when are you going to do a Pathfinder live play? So we have a wonderful cast that we have already talked about in a show called The Claw Firm that is going to be coming together to do a season. We'll start with a season of a Pathfinder live play show. And unfortunately, that has been delayed somewhat due to some concerns over COVID and the ongoing pandemic, because we do have that one pegged as something that is live and in person. And so because the cast is in LA, and we're trying to get them together, and so we have delayed that until we can have a little more clarity on that, because of course safety is our utmost concern with that. So we still are engaging that incredible cast, and we will share more news about that as soon as we can. One of the great things about that is if that show comes a little later, we also would like for the cast to have more of the tools that we're making to be able to use while they're at the table. And so we will keep you posted, but we have every intention to have Pathfinder live play going on as well. Anchor 89 again, will there be custom character sheets or at least alternate character sheets? So I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, but what we can say is that there will be an interactive digital character sheet that has, calculations. It allows you to track statuses, all of those things going on with it. It will be customizable in some ways. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves too much here, but we are planning things like being able to pin or star or favorite different actions, or whatever that is, to potentially change the layout or change what you can see quickest, and all of those sorts of things. And so we do anticipate that kind of customization being in place. One of the things that's very important for us as well, that I literally talk about on a weekly basis, is that as you have a digital character sheet, on a screen somewhere, there has to be an ability to we'll say we'll say override anything that appears in those fields. So if you ever have a strange circumstance come up in the game, or any kind of new thing hit your character that you aren't able to go and build that fully out, or maybe it's some kind of circumstance that we haven't foreseen. We want our engine to be flexible enough, and we want the sheet to be flexible enough for you always to be able to manually add the notes, adjust values, all of those things. So all of those things are going to be customizable. And then as far as we do plan to have PDF outputs that you can do for your sheets. And as far as that goes, we will likely take cues from the official Pathfinder character sheet or sheets as we start to get into that. But who knows what the future holds, and what kind of possibilities might exist for that. GM for life, you be doing anything with Pathfinder Society? We absolutely plan to do some things with Pathfinder Society. Some of that is going to be Pathfinder Society support. So if you are creating a character, you will be able to know that that character is legal for Society play. When you're getting into the listings, you're going to see that it talks about the different game elements as being the different types of statuses for Pathfinder Society. So you can see at a glance if something is standard, limited, or restricted when it comes to Pathfinder Society play. So we are trying to incorporate that as we go, but we will have broader well, tighter, maybe is a better way to say, instead of broader, more in-depth Pathfinder Society support as we go along. Spidey Cloned, from a dev standpoint, how are you guys handling unexpected new mechanics as they come down the pipeline from Paizo? So in my former life, I really saw this play out a lot, and it was really, really tough to work with. And so trying to learn some things from hindsight, and also seeing that Pathfinder is a game that has a ton of expansion, and always introducing new things into the game. I won't get into all the secret sauce, but we are certainly building a game engine that has a great deal of flexibility, and that's the kind of flexibility that even if we can't always keep up with it with our, even if we hired 50 people, which we do not have, we're still going to reach capacity at some point, right? But even with that being the case, we want this engine to be flexible and powerful enough that even fans in the community can jump in and assist and support with that. So more details on how that plays out as we go. But I can certainly emphasize that this is something very important to us, and we understand that it is something that is going to be essential for us to be able to keep up with this rapidly evolving game. Let's see, H2OSW. Are you able to talk more about pricing for Lost Omens, more specifically the discount of what owning the PDF is? So what I can say on Lost Omens, so Lost Omens, I think, has a little bit of variance in some of the pricing, but so I can't maybe talk specifics without speaking to the specific books. But what I can say is that Lost Omens content in general is priced a little bit higher than the rule books are, even if you just go and look at Paizo's pricing. So when it comes to Paizo's suggested retail price, all of that is taken into account. But I can tell you that when it comes to how that will look on the Demiplane side and Pathfinder Nexus side, it is going to be proportional to whatever that looks like on Paizo's side. So if it is an increased cost in on the Paizo side, then it is going to have a similar increased cost on this side, and then the discount is going to be, again, proportionally where you would likely expect that to be. So sorry about some of the generalizations there, but I would have to talk about it book by book because they are some of them are priced differently. But we will have more information about what those prices look like as soon as those books are available, and that's not going to be too long from now. At least some of them, and we'll start to catch that up pretty quickly. Anchor 89, will I be able to print my characters? That would be now. I can't, buy you a printer or guarantee that you have ink in your printer, because that's what always happens when I go to print anything. Every single time I go to print something, I'm out of ink. I don't know how that is physically possible, but I am. So you got to deal with the printing part yourself, but we will get it in a portable document format that you could go, and as long as you can sort out the printing demons, you would be able to do that. And Dan Scath, will the Pathfinder Society helps come to character creation? Since PFS character has a feat and a lore link to the school, can we add those on the digital character sheet? That would be the intent. And I can't tell you, exactly how that's going to play out, or, what iteration that would be. But, the intent of the digital character sheet is for you to be able to play the character in the way that you want to be able to play. So Pathfinder Society is something that is important to us, and we know that it's really important Pathfinder fans out there. So we are going to be providing support for that. Anchor 89, is there going to be able to share my purchases with my wife on her account? At this point in time, the way that would work is through content sharing, through group content sharing. And that will be something that we will talk about a little bit closer to launch itself. So the short answer is yes. If you choose to do that with your wife, she would be able to be one of the people that you are sharing content with. But the actual logistics and details of how that will work is something that we're not quite ready to share yet. But yes, the intent, we want to replicate the scenario that someone buys a book and they go to the table and they share that with everybody that's sitting at the table. And this is kind of a digital representation of that wonderful, wonderful process. All right. We went over a little bit today. Typically try to keep these at about 30 minutes, but we had some sound issues at the beginning. So thanks for sticking with us. And again, one more time, my hero, Craig, thank you so much for stepping in and helping out with this today. And really, really appreciate all of you out there. Can't wait to start getting some of these listings and primers out and start phase 2 of early access for Pathfinder Nexus. It's going to be a huge year for Demiplane. We have so many amazing things that are in progress and things that we haven't talked about or shared yet. So stay tuned to all of our social media accounts, to our YouTube channel, our Twitch channel, all of these places. Come back for these dev updates. Lots and lots of excitement is coming our way for this year. Later, Gators.